I just interviewed O'Block Louie. It's not out yet. But he talked about before Quando and Vaughn ran into each other, Vaughn said that he's going to put hands on Quando when he sees him. So he basically said what he's about to do.
Yep.
What exactly was that?
There was a few tweets back and forth because Lil Reese kind of involved himself in it too. Huh. Lil Reese said he was going to catch Quando on Twitter, and then Quando was, because Academics reposted it, and then Quando posted something saying, oh, you guys don't deserve to live no more, fuck Academics. And so it was like, all this stuff was going on. And this was when Quando released that tape, I think it's called Diary of a Lost Child, did really poorly, had really low sales. I think Quando's music's fire. I feel like it was unfair that he did so badly, but Quando was down bad at that point. Everyone was clowning him. They were clowning his sales. Academics was roasting him. Reese was tweeting that he was going to catch him. I can't remember. I don't think Vaughn tweeted at Quando, I'm going to catch you, but Vaughn was tweeting stuff like, you know, when I see you, ain't going to be no talking, it's just going to be fighting, or stuff like that. But it wasn't.
O'Block Louie basically confirmed it.
Yeah, but the funny thing about
he said that what happened that night, Vaughn said he was going to do.
Exactly, but you know what is even more crazy about that? And this is something a lot of people missed, and this is in my video about Lil Tim and that whole thing that went on. When that was going on, if you go back and look at Lil Tim's old tweets, he's tweeting, these guys from Chicago better chill out on Quando. He's with a bullet hole emoji. You know, that tweet's there. That was September 2020. So we're talking like 2 months before Von got killed. They're going back and forth. Reese is saying he's going to put hands on Quando. Von's tweeting, when I catch you ain't going to be no talking. And then Lil Tim's tweeting, Chicago better chill out on my boy Quando with a bullet emoji. So this stuff was loading. A lot of people didn't catch that.
Yeah. And then one night in Atlanta, they actually ran into each other. And I remember talking, I talked to, 100K Track. I also talked to, O'Block Louie, who got shot that night in the head. And they basically said that King Von is going to be King Von. There's really, when he puts his mind to something, you're not going to talk him out of it. You can't tell him to chill. You can't say, walk away from it. He's going to do what he feels like doing. He has just a determined will to do right or wrong. And in this case, it was obviously wrong with the way it ended up. So they see each other in the parking lot. Von makes a beeline to Quando, starts throwing hands on him. And then that's where things get a little fuzzy. A shootout happens. They say Lil Tim killed King Von. But then eventually Tim got cleared of all the charges. So now they're saying that the police, I guess, killed King Von?
I think Tim killed King Von. I think it's the same thing like Butter doesn't want to say Von killed KI. I think there's the O-Block guys. There's this thing in Chicago, people don't want to give the killer credit for killing their homie.
Well, it's not about getting credit. The police actually dropped the charges against Tim. So it doesn't matter who says what. And there's video footage.
Yeah, but I personally think if you will look at the footage, it's clear that Tim's shooting up Von. And then you can see, the thing is, so bear in mind, I've made so many different videos about this situation. I've upscaled the video, slowed it down, zoomed in. You can actually see in the video, you can see the police car, you can see the blue lights on top of the police car at the top of the frame, and you see that after Tim shoots up Von, like that's happened, that's done and over with. Slutty and Louie try and execute Tim on the ground. You can see the gun jams, they're not getting anything out of it. They then run around the SUV, but as they get around the other side of the SUV, you can see two cops get out of that car and start shooting at Slutty and Louie who are running past them. So it's clear to me that Tim was the one that shot up Von, because that happens before the police thing pops off, right? And the police only really activate themselves after shots start firing. Like once Tim's shots are fired, like Tim gets hit and then he falls to the ground and they're trying to kill Tim. Like if you slow it down and you look at the right parts, like I could point it out, but it's like the cops jump out and then they start shooting at Slutty and Louie, and that's at the sort of top left of the frame. And then obviously what ends up happening there, Slutty loses his life, Louis gets shot in the head. But, that video is crazy. There's so much going on, but if you slow it down and you know where to look, you can see everything that's going on and this sort of play-by-play of what's going on. It's messed up, but it's like I've painstakingly looked over it, and I personally think it's obvious that Tim killed Von, and I would completely understand, like, how are you not going to beat that self-defense case? Like, this guy and his friends who were armed, because the cops shot and killed somebody who was armed, they were attacking us, I opened fire and defended myself and my friend. To me, it's open and shut. You got two dead bodies there that the police had to neutralize with guns. So Tim defending himself when these Chicago killers are attacking his friend completely unprovoked seems like self-defense. But the crazy thing is, there's all these rumors that Tim was the King Von of Savannah. Tim might have had bodies back in the day. Tim was on go. Tim was a real shooter. And so what's really crazy about that situation is just, Von really just underestimated Quando and Tim's crew. Like, they weren't, they were as real as Von's crew. And when it came to it, they popped off in the way they thought that they were going to pop off. And I guess Von just thought he was going to run around and bully and shoot everyone. Like, I dread to think what would have happened if Tim wasn't there. They might have killed Quando.
Maybe. Yeah, I wasn't aware that Slutty and Louis actually pulled out guns. Because when I interviewed Louis, he said he doesn't remember anything.
I mean, I could see that.
I could see why. I mean, now in retrospect, I could see why he would answer that way. He got shot in the head and went into a coma for 2 months.
This is kind of unrelated, but this is something I just want to point out because I don't feel like people have paid attention to this. But there's something crazy about the fact, obviously, what happened to Louis is messed up, and he's obviously, that's a serious injury that he's taken right there.
Yeah.
But how crazy is it that Von spent years talking about Wooski got shot in the head? Wooski needed medicine. We shot up Wooski. He ain't the same no more. That ended up happening to one of King Von's best friends the night that he died. It's just
they were
how
actually
messed up
living
that is.
together. They were roommates
Von and
at
Louis.
the time that Louis got shot and Von got killed. They were living together.
It's crazy.
That was his guy. So Slutty gets killed by the police. Louis gets shot in the head, goes into a coma. Von gets killed, allegedly by Tim, even though they dropped the charges. Tim gets shot and gets shitbagged, I think. The video you see Quando, is he trying to get Tim to the hospital or?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And Bezu said, we saw you at the hospital and we're going to kill you, but you were recording. That was going around as well. Because obviously Bezu and Von's crew, they ended up at the same hospital. There was a story that they were about to have another shootout at the hospital and Quando started filming it to kind of try and stop them shooting. That's the crazy. Imagine that, they get to the hospital with their injured mans and then it all pops up again. It's actually, excuse the pun, but it's a crazy story. Like it's one of the craziest hip hop stories. I always try and say this to people. It's like, this is like Tupac versus Biggie times 10, what was going on with these guys.
Yeah, 100K track, the manager gets shot in the leg.
Crazy.
It's just an awful situation.
Yeah.
It's an absolutely awful situation. And then the aftermath is crazy. Asian Doll starts making up stories saying that Von texted her saying that they let me get killed. And then later on, oh no, that was in a dream.
Hey, listen, the thing with her, right, she's wilding out, but also like, it's got to be super traumatic, losing your boyfriend, losing your ex in that sort of way. This stuff was so public, She said a lot of crazy stuff, but she must have been going through a lot. So yeah, I got a lot of sympathy for her.
Yeah.